Hello everyone, my name is SwingPoynt and welcome to Pokemon Unite. This video here is to give you a bunch of tips that'll help you out if you're new, and probably some tips that'll help you out even if you're not new. These are not meant to be generic tips. These are meant to be things that go, oh wait, what? Really? You can do that? I didn't know that. For example, take a look at Snorlax here. Did you know that Snorlax can roll after he's already in his ult to cause more damage? Pretty cool. Another tip, you see these areas where you get really slow in the enemy area? Well, if you have an X speed, you can ignore all that. If you take a look at the timer up on the top of the screen, what you'll notice is we're approaching 5 minutes. And when we hit 5 minutes, that is when this super jump pad kicks in so that you can go and quickly traverse to any area on your side of the map. If you want to test Pokemon in practice mode, be careful if you're trying to get numbers, because for some reason the practice dummies have different stat numbers than you do. So watch me hit Snorlax here. 248, 248. 426. Now watch him hit me if I turn this on. He's going to hit different numbers with his basic attacks. So let's turn it on here after he slams me. So 122, 255, 122. For some reason, these practice Pokemon are punching through water or something. They are extremely weakened compared to you. So if you're trying to get numbers, watch out. Oh God, I didn't know you turned into something with multiple hands. Oh God. Well, that happens under 2 minutes. I didn't know that happened. There are a bunch of moves in Pokemon Unite that allow you to jump over walls. For example, this one. So keep that in mind when you're playing your Pokemon and see if their moves allow you to jump over walls and catch your enemy off guard. And they all evolve. I had no idea. So this is one that's listed in the moves description, but I still feel like not too many people know it. Slowpoke's water gun can be charged. So you just hold down the button and ta-da! And another thing to know about that is you see that little blue dash? That means your skill's at full power. So there's no real need to go ahead and hold it longer than that. So you'll see some items in the game like the special attack specs or the AS cookie that make it so that when you turn in a goal, your stats will go up. Well, those stats going up are dependent on the amount of goals that you score, not how big the goals are. So let's go take a peek over here at, this guy. So you see over these three, he does about 2,298 damage. Something clear him there. And then I'm going to go ahead and turn in. Ba-bam. So after we turn in here, let's go check our stats again. And now that went up to about 2,340. So we gained, I don't know, about 42. So let me go over here now. Just grab one and then turn that in. And then you'll see it's only going to be about another 42 or so that goes up. See, it's only about another 40. So it doesn't matter how much you turn in, it matters how many times you turn in. And that does eventually cap out. So we're going to have a few tips going on here. Take a look, 205. You can start turning in right now at 205. And then within 2 minutes, that is when you have double points. And if you're paying attention there is only 6 points left on that goal. You can go ahead and score over the amount that are left in the goal, and that will add to your score at the end of the game. So instead of getting 80 in that slot, we just got ourselves like 174 because we just overscored it so much. Venusaur's ultimate skill shows you where those extra seeds are going to drop. So if you take a look at those little notches on the circle of the ultimate skill, pay attention to those and you'll see that that's where each of the seeds are going to drop. So center seed, and then the 4 extra seeds. And to further illustrate the point, let me rotate it a little bit. So it's a little bit different angles here. And now you'll see the seeds drop again where the notches are. See? Pretty accurate way to tell where your seeds are going to drop. So how much of a damage bonus does X attack provide? Well, let's take a look. We have one attack here for 293. Well, now let's go ahead and use our X attack. Now, that 293 is suddenly a 336. So that's a bonus of about 15%. By the way, on the topic of attacks, there's 2 types of attacks in this game. There's physical attacks and special attacks. Now, whatever each Pokemon has is completely unique to that Pokemon. So I'll put a chart up right now on screen to show you which Pokemon use physical attacks for their skills and which ones use special attacks. Every Pokemon in the game right now has a physical attack for their basic attack, and then from there on out, it's a crapshoot. So use that chart, learn it, and that'll help you determine what items you should put on your Pokemon. So let's check out special attacks now. How much does this Solar Beam do? It does 7790. So once this clears, we'll do the math here with the X attack and see how much it does. So let's go ahead and press X attack right about now. Bam! Wow, it's pretty disappointing actually. 7985 divided by 7790. Only 2.5%? Really? So Giga Drain here does 1153. And then let's X attack it. Oh my god, it is terrible. It's only like a 2.5% buff to your special skills. Wow. Well, if you're a Gengar or something popping around with X attack, you're doing it wrong. Apparently the X attack is really only good for physical attacks. And since we're talking about Venusaur, if you're somebody who likes to play Venusaur and you like Solar Beam, but you're like, oh man, I can't see what I'm shooting over here. I'm just kind of shooting into nothingness and I hope I'm going to hit the Pokemon. Well, there is an option in the settings that'll help you scout a little bit ahead of you. So if you go into settings, go to controls, and then there's an option here that says camera follows moves. Well, go ahead and turn that on. And now you can scout out to the edge of your move. So if you're playing Venusaur, this is actually a really, really nice thing to have. Because you know right where your attack's going to go. Wigglytuff has a skill called Rollout, and Rollout lets you roll out. However, if you're using Rollout and you hit a wall, you will bounce off of that wall. And it'll recharge Rollout for a period of time. So if you're playing Wigglytuff and you want a nice move to pull against the enemies here, what you can do is sit here specifically in this rock combo in a tight area and then just go bap bap. And you can really stun them up. If you're on the enemy team side of the map, you can go ahead and steal their fruit. I recommend it. But how long does the fruit take to respawn? You ever wonder that? It's about 40 seconds, and we'll prove it to you here once this hits about 320. Okay. Well, so this should be spawning in right around now. Perfect. So if you're going ahead and you're fighting the enemy, take a look at the timer from when you pick up your fruit. That way you know just about what time you can go back to get yourself some health again. If you could find this spot in a match and line it up just right, anybody that gets close to you is going to get melted.
5,
Oh my
4,
god.
3,
Oh my
2,
god.
1.
That is so scary.
Eyes up.
Something you can do in your settings to make it easier for you to cast certain skills is go to controls, and then you can turn on this thing called the lock-on icon. And what that does is it provides a little wheel on the right-hand side of the screen. It allows you to select Pokemon that are nearby you in order for you to attack them. So, in the example of a Machamp here, if you want to go ahead and do that thing that all the other Gengars are doing, where you use Sludge Bomb and then use Hex a lot, you can go ahead and use this, and then it is going to continuously lock on to this Machamp no matter where I am and no matter how many other Pokemon are nearby, because you're using the lock-on wheel. By the way, if you're wondering how all these different Gengar players are just absolutely melting people, it's because of this combo. They use Sludge Bomb, and then they go and they attack this like this to get a status effect, and then it resets their Hex, so it allows them to keep recasting it. So the ways you dodge that are you either try to crowd control Gengar, or you try to make sure you don't get poisoned, or you try to heal the poison, or you just run for your life. That's another option. Or cry. I guess that might work too. Another tip is you heal every time you turn in. So take a look here. Turning in 27. Blam. Get a decent amount of health out of that, but I'm pretty certain it doesn't matter how much you turn in. You'll get healed around the same amount either way. Yeah. So if you need to just go ahead and get yourself healed up real quick and you have a couple of AOS energy laying around like this, just get a couple of quick turn-ins rather than picking it all up at once. Just boom, 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 boom. And then next thing you know, you're back to health and you don't have to waste your time going back to your spawn to heal. A couple more things here in the settings that you might find really useful. Let's go ahead and make sure our cooldowns are on. And let me show you some things. So if you'd like to have a little bit more precision when you play, there's two settings I would recommend turning on. One of which is the advanced controls. So what this does is it pretty much just lets you have two buttons to attack your opponents rather than one. It defaults over here where you just everything's on the A button. But if you'd like to be able to switch between enemy Pokemon and then wild Pokemon, turn on advanced controls. And you'll see where that's useful once we go try to attack Machamp over here. And then another option that you might like, if you like a little bit more precision, is there's one called Show Cooldown Decibel Values. So typically when you see the cooldown going on your skills, it goes 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well, this will give you a decimal value so you know the exact moment where you can cast your skill again. Okay? So let's take a look at what that looks like. So if I have Machamp right here, I can attack him using A like I usually would. But now if I wanted to go ahead and switch on over to attacking these guys, it's impossible because Machamp's right here. But now if I have these advanced controls on, I can switch between Machamp and I can switch between the Combees over here. See? It's pretty useful, especially when you're sitting there trying to snipe a wild Pokemon down away from your enemy team so that you can keep farming levels and they can't. It's a nice little tactic there. But now the other thing we're going to talk about here is the decimal values. So if you go ahead and take a look at Machamp over here, I'm going to hit him with Pollen Puff, but now watch Pollen Puff in the bottom of the screen. I believe that once we get around under 1 second, you'll see a decimal kick in. There you go. So then you know exactly when it's going to kick in if that's something that you value when you play the game. By the way, I guess another tip I didn't really think is a tip, but if you're playing with Gossifleur, pay attention. Because if they have this Pollen Puff thing on, you get healed by that. So you see that little aura that's around that Pokemon right there? That heals you. It heals everyone. It does damage to all the enemy Pokemon, and it heals all the ally Pokemon. So if you see these getting casted, go right ahead and jump on into that aura. And you know, I guess another tip with Gossifleur, now that I'm on it, is you can cast this on yourself and then walk it over to your teammates in case they're just not getting the memo. So you can heal yourself, and then you can also heal your teammates. Another thing that I think is just kind of a general tip is make sure you're always doing something that's useful to your team. Think of every action you perform as, does it provide value to what I'm trying to accomplish, which is win the game. So if you are going up against the enemy and you have them pushed back and they're sitting here healing on their point, you're not really getting yourself a whole lot of benefit just by chasing them down into here and then beating up on them, getting hurt, and then having to run back and heal. So if you push them back a little bit, let's say you got a bunch of damage in, just go and, start attacking their A-Poms or something so that they can't farm those things. It allows you to get some energy, and it also keeps you leveling up. Don't get hung up on just trying to take down the enemy team. The point of the game is to be able to win at the end. And if you keep putting yourself in a bad position, you're not going to do yourself any favors late game. You want to make sure you keep attacking the wild Pokemon because this is the easiest way to level up. And then if you get yourself an opportunity to take out the enemy team, or then take it, because that will also help. But that is a much harder task than coming over here and just slapping some monkeys around. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sure many of you have lost matches due to Zapdos at the end of the game. It can be extremely frustrating and makes the first 8 minutes of the game feel like they didn't matter because the enemy team got one last hit on Zapdos and blah, the whole game turns around. But there is a way to counter that, and it's with our buddy Rotom here. There's a few things to know about him. One is that he spawns in at 7 minutes for the first time. 2, if you take him out, like right around now, he will provide pressure for you and a little bit of insurance when Zapdos spawns. See? He continues to go down to their lane. Now, if you do not take him out before these 2 minutes start, or before the final 2 minutes start, then he will disappear. As you saw, Dreadnought on the bottom of the screen is no longer here. But if you take out Rotom and you have these other 2 towers taken out, this provides a level of insurance for you because this will require the enemy team to either deal with Rotom or they all go for Zapdos, and then your team can come in and get a bunch of turn-ins really quickly like this too. So I think this is going to be something that people are going to start considering a lot more. Also, if you noticed before we took out Rotom, he had pretty low health and he was staying there. Rotom was not regenerating health. I don't know if that's a practice mode thing, but I think he just doesn't regenerate health. So if you're trying to be clever here, you can go ahead and get a Rotom ready. And right around 205, you finish him off. Make it so he starts going down this lane and then go help out your team with Zapdos. So again, it puts the enemy team in a really compromised position. They either have to deal with Rotom or they have to deal with Zapdos. Either way, they're going all hog in one area or they're splitting up. And if they're splitting up, that makes them vulnerable. So I really feel like if people are having trouble with Zapdos and losing games because of Zapdos, they need to start paying a lot more attention to our buddy Rotom up here, because I think he's the key to making it so that you have much more of an ability to control the end of the game rather than hoping the enemy team doesn't kill Zapdos before you do. A couple of final things. When I try to make videos on this channel, I try to make it so the content you see is something that feels worth watching. It's something that is novel or unique, or you go, oh wow, I wouldn't have known that unless I saw this video, or unless I played a bunch of hours, or unless I read forums online. The whole point of this is to make it so the game is more enjoyable for you. So if this helped at all, please consider subscribing. I do plan on covering more content with this game. I do have a really in-depth Mr. Mime guide. So if you like the in-depth stuff we had here, Mr. Mime's going to be a whole lot more of that. And I do plan on covering all the other characters in the game. If there's anything else that you guys would like to see, let me know in the comments down below. Or if this video helped you, please let me know in the comments down below. So thank you so much for being here. You guys are the best. And then I'll see you guys in the next video that we do around here.